All right, CJ, I know we asked you about where you think that you learned this year or grew as a quarterback, but I'm kind of more interested in where did you think that you grew as a person being here this year?
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like I grew as a person especially with my faith. I feel like I really relied on God in the heat of the moment and when things were going good. I learned how to not ride the highs, but and not ride the lows. Kind of to say even keel.
Hmm.
So I feel like that's how I had to play into a lot of it of me just growing into a person.
Where does that come from? Obviously, the negativity was there, but also the positivity was there. But you didn't just learn to not ride the highs or lows in college. Where do you think that started at?
Honestly, I think it started growing up and just having some of the things that I've been through, um, and I've learned a lot through my life, and a lot that I've been through has had to do with perseverance.
Hmm.
And it's never how you start, it's how you finish. So I mean, I feel like the perseverance of my life, and this is not the hardest thing I've been through. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, it's a sport, it's a game.
Yeah.
And I know it means so much to people, and it means so much to me because this is my livelihood. But at the end of the day, it's a game. And I know how to separate it. You know what I'm saying? I feel
Yeah.
like I would encourage a lot of people to learn how to separate the game from a game to real life. You know what I'm saying? Because people often do come for us as like human beings because
Yeah.
we didn't complete a pass. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's kind of like crazy to see people act like that, but I get it,
Yeah.
and I feel like as a person, I'm learning like to deal with those type of people and pray for them.
Is that hard for you to keep in perspective sometimes of when things aren't going well? And how do you remind yourself? Obviously, it's easy to do 2 weeks after a game or maybe even a day after a game, but how hard is it to remind yourself to put things in perspective of where you are in life?
Yeah, man, it takes me a while. Like I was talking to a lot of my family members. They're like, man, you work too hard. Like you need to like enjoy your wins. And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know why I've always been like that. I always try to move on, good or bad, because if you ride in that, you kind of just like thinking about the past, and the past really doesn't matter. So I'm really big on staying in your feet and staying in the moment and winning that moment. So I don't know. That's just kind of the things that I try to do. So.
You mentioned towards the end of the press conference in there just kind of the intensity that you have, not just for football, but in life in general. And I wonder, is there a motivation there of, this is going to help me get to some place or it's going to help me become something that I want to become? What is that pushes you to be that level of intent on being the best that you can be?
Yeah, it's a lot of things. Like it's the feeling of want to be great,
Yeah.
want to be one of the best ever to play the game. I want to be one of the best to play at Ohio State. Um, I want to be one of the best to play quarterback in California.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things, and of course, like I want to be able to set my family up for life. And I feel like I remember growing up. I think it was like eighth grade. James Harden had got his contract,
Hmm.
and he was like, they like broke it down by like how much money he makes in a year, a day, a second, and like a millisecond. And he
Yeah.
was making like 100K a second. I was like, what? Like people are paying people this much to
Hmm.
play a sport that they love growing up. I remember James Harden growing up, like, cause he's from California, he's from Compton, and I remember like seeing him in high school play. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, he's from like kind of like the same backgrounds as me, like you know what I'm saying? So I always thought like, okay, I can maybe set myself up, set my family up as well, like to live a better life, cause at the end of the day, that's kind of really like what we do it for is to set our family up. So that was like things that kind of like made me like grind so hard.
I know the money brings things like, tangible things, cars, houses, things like that. But is there something that you have? It seems like at least that there's a larger goal that you have of something that you want to set up with what your faith is and where you see yourself going in this profession.
Yeah, my big thing for me, what I want to gain out of the sport of football is not just the money and the accolades. It's really to inspire people, to
Mm.
inspire kids, and I feel like especially an age group from like middle school to high school was like so pivotal for my life to learn and kind of like when I'm talking about flipping the switch, I kind of like had flipped the switch from a different type of lifestyle. So I definitely remember those times and remember like just like the different things I used to think of, and I really didn't have a lot of. I didn't really have my father in my life, but I had great coaches and I had great father figures. And
Mm.
I honestly did have my dad in my life, but he wasn't necessarily there with me.
I get you.
So I don't know. It's a lot of different things I feel like I can teach kids and inspire them to learn. So I feel like that's one of my biggest goals in my life.
Just my last question for you is kind of about learning. Is when you first came here, how long did you think it took you to learn the offense that Ryan had in place for you? And I know you said that you had a play that you were ready to do on day two, but how long do you think it actually took you to get this playbook down to understand Ryan's mind in a way, and for that to become what you see on the field now?
Yeah, it took me probably the whole year, my redshirt year, and I just like remember like just kind of like trying to guess what play he's gonna call. I don't know why I did it, but I just try to like learn. I don't, and honestly, it paid off in the long run because like in the game, I literally like it'll be third, fourth and short, and I'm like, okay, he's calling this. I already know it is. I honestly sometimes I don't even look at the signal. I know what the play is. So I think that, and that's a good thing for our relationship as player coach is like he can trust me to learn, like he know that I know my stuff like day and night. So I think that's a great thing that our relationship has. Is like I kind of know what he's gonna call before he even calls it.